Boom. We're live.
So, so the thing I want to share about acknowledging the props you bring on. When I first did comedy, I brought a blow up doll on stage,
Really?
right? And I didn't address it.
Blown up or just like in the
Fully
package?
blown up.
Okay.
Like it was an androgynous blow up doll. Like one side had a dick. One it was actually it was called the Skinny Dipper Ring Toss Flipper.
Okay.
So like it was a ring toss game on a blow up doll, like with the penis side
You can say dick. It's
was
fine.
the dick.
Big old
The
dick.
the male side was like if you were not really good, I guess, at ring toss, and the
Uh-huh.
female side with the boobs was like, ah, I'm really good. I can hit the boobs. Like it was just it was kind of something that I got as a birthday gift from my friends every year.
Uh-huh.
They always got me
You
blow
got
up
them the same
dolls.
thing. Yeah. Oh. I thought you meant like you would always get it for your friends every year.
No, my friends would always get this because they're always like, "Hey, you're sad. You need this." So that was the kind of
That's
gift I
kind
got.
of them.
So when I first started, I would bring a blow up doll on stage. I would not address it,
Mm-hmm.
and then I thought I was killing. Like my first couple times, I'm like, "Oh, like I'm so good at this." And one of the older comics pulled me out to the side. No, they're just laughing at the blow up doll. No one hears your jokes.
Oh, really?
Yeah, no one's listening to what you're saying.
So so do you really think was the blow up doll thing that legitimately was you bringing that up there to try to get a laugh from that,
Yes,
but not have it be this is to distract everybody from my jokes?
right.
I
But
see
it,
that.
ultimately, that's what happened. Um, it that's why I'm like, if you got a prop, you gotta address it. You can't like,
Yeah. Yeah, I mean you have to, yeah, because I was just we were joking about we did basically a whole podcast worth of talking downstairs, which is what used to be known as conversation.
yes,
Used to be just a regular ass conversation. But now it's we did have a full on podcast essentially. But this is uh, GDP Live. This part of it is GDP Live. It's Gross Domesticated Podcast live on March 16th, Stone Cold Day 316. We're here with Danny Hucks, and we were
what?
talking about mental health. We were talking about comedy things, and you were mentioning a thing that I had. We were talking about before, which was me saying that I wanted to just bring a prop on stage and not acknowledge it, and how
Yeah,
annoying that. Like I had that impulse when I was starting out early on,
yeah,
and then even to the point now where I'm thinking, like, even to bring it up for the joke, like doing things specifically for that joke, not a true observation, but an actual, like, I've got to bring this prop around so I can do this joke. Anytime that comes up, that's a thing that now definitely fucking annoys the shit out of me. But I've now even thinking back of it, of like, you know what? It's just something. I think it's a need, or like a want to be. Everybody wants to be a little bit Andy Kaufman. The dedication and the point of somebody knowing. Now it's just translated to using like racist jokes at open mics, but nobody knows where to push the envelope anymore. You know what I mean? Like he obviously that situation, like just being plain ass heel in comedy. I think he just exposed, like, nobody wants to take what he did and make it better. They just want to copy what he did. So they're like, I can be a heel in comedy too. And it's like,
yeah.
well, that's not his point. His thing was we can be other things than just comics, or just like just performance or anything like that. But that's just, it's such a lazy way to do it. I
Yeah.
can totally see that frustration.
And there's some people that can do it right, and I mean, I've seen some prop comics that are absolutely like hilarious,
Yeah.
and obviously, like I mean, a lot of people like talk down on them, but um, the originator, what's his face,
Gallagher.
no, well Gallagher, but
Carrot Top.
Carrot Top
Yeah, yeah.
makes a lot of money,
Hmm.
so like, dude knows what he's doing.
My thing was really legitimately was Gallagher. Like growing up, when I was like, a lot of people say like, oh, what are some things that you may, what was your favorite comic, or what did you
Yeah,
watch growing up, or anything like that? And if it's ever that question, anytime, like, I can't just say that this is for sure but a huge influence that I watched growing up. Unironically, we're joking about it with the Jeff Foxworthy picture.
Yeah.
unironically, I loved Gallagher growing up. Like I even like he if you're saying influences, who did I watch a lot growing up? It was George Carlin and it was a lot of Gallagher. That's a wide swath. You know what I mean?
Oh no, like I was George Carlin,
Hmm.
Andrew Dice
Yeah.
Clay. I think my first comedy special that I actually saw was Eddie Griffin's Voodoo Child.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
That
Yeah.
was the first one I legitimately was like, holy crap, you can actually do this and make money.
But that's the thing is just being so like with Gallagher, it was a lot of like prop shit. Like he was the
Yeah,
guy who did
yeah,
the sledgehammer thing. But I liked his jokes. It's I unironically a lot like a lot of things that people I think choose to like ironically or even just kind of poo poo because of like the shtick. I like shtick, but like to me, like Guar is a perfect example. Guar is a band from Virginia, Richmond, Virginia, actually. That
shout out Richmond.
that I don't know why I know that fact, but it's the fact that I think it's so cool that such a weird fucking band came from such a like pretty conservative area. I guess it makes sense actually, but
All that pent up frustration
yeah,
had to.
their shtick is like I've got an alien penis and I'm gonna squirt it all over the crowd, and because we're over here, we're gonna do drugs and take over your planet. Like that only comes from like Iowa, Slipknot coming from Iowa. It's like such an overcorrection that everybody focuses on the masks or on the shtick or on the costumes or the story or anything like that. But legitimately, if you listen to some Guar songs, they're pretty fucking good. I think they're pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, I've never listened to a Gore song. I don't
Really?
think, but I mean, like I don't remember any of them.
Do you, Danny, do you like music?
Yeah, I mean, I like. I mean, I'm not a hater. I like all kinds of music. Like, I just don't think I remember a Gore song.
I got Casey pounding off here. She said, I watched the Amazing Jonathan documentary and I love props. It was genius. Yeah, Amazing Jonathan's another good example of a he's more of a I guess a magician would be kind of a prop comic, right?
Yeah, and I'm not against prop comedy. Like we were talking earlier. I don't mind it. I don't. I'm not a comedy purist.
Yeah.
Um, in the least sense, I was talking like. Well, I was telling you about the show that I did in Hagerstown, where and why I get annoyed sometimes. You had four comics go up besides me and Andrew Glessner. The first lady goes up. She has a pouch with a dog in
Yeah.
the
A
pouch.
live dog.
Yeah, a live dog. And like brings it on stage, doesn't address it. The second person goes up, a younger guy, like one of his first or second times he's ever done comedy. He goes up with a sailor hat, doesn't address it, which I guess maybe
Not
you don't
and
have to,
not a
but it blocks
bucket
out half
hat.
his face.
Is it like one of those like that one, or is it like the where it's like a upside down
One,
taco,
one,
or
like the one from like Gilligan's Island, like
like a
the
bucket hat?
skipper.
Oh,
Yeah,
oh, oh, okay, like a skit, like
yeah,
like a captain's hat.
yeah. Okay, yeah.
Oh,
And
wow.
it blacked out like half of his face, so you can't see the guy emote. He doesn't address this. He just thinks it's funny. And then like the most innocuous, the third person brings up a fanny pack, which I guess you don't really have to
Yeah.
address that. But the last lady, the headliner, she has a full on eye patch, and you're talking down there. She doesn't address it for like halfway through her set.
Yeah, yeah.
So like um the
At some
whole
point, yeah,
time,
at
yeah,
some
you're
point you
like,
have to read the room a little bit. Like
yeah,
somebody has to bring like it in that sense, like I would if I was like you said, like the headliner is the one with the eye patch, but by the end of that, if nobody had addressed any of those things, be like, can we just talk about legitimately that there's been a fucking dog on stage tonight? There's been a one-eyed woman. There's like
right,
it's like this is like the result to a scavenger hunt. Somebody is winning, has a winning bingo ticket at this show tonight
yeah,
because they have all of the things that were on their card.
you hit
Like
the
you
lottery.
got the fucking fanny pack, you got the fucking lady with one eye, you got whatever like a live dog on stage to me is first of all, I don't understand unless even if you're a blind person, like you like
It was just a pouch,
I don't understand it.
just like I've seen babies with them before, where you had that just
Yeah, yeah,
back
yeah. The
over your
Bjorn.
shoulders.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it was just a pouch with the dog inside. I actually followed her, so I did make fun of that for a little bit.
Okay,
I
good.
was like,
That's
I
good.
go up there and I'm like, you guys don't understand. You think this is fat, but it's really just me and my dog But my dog's kind of shy.
He's sleeping. Shh.
Right. I'm like my dog is shy, so I addressed it and I had a good set
Yeah.
about it. The other three, they were after me, so I couldn't address them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and it's just I don't know when you bring a prop up there like that. I guess speaking from experience, it distracts away from your material.
Yeah.
If you're not gonna talk about it, like me bringing up a blow up doll, if no one listened to any of my material,
Yeah.
why does this guy have a blow up doll on stage?
I I almost think of it as like a challenge. Like it would be like I could understand that kind of weird gauntlet of like people going up after a while of doing stand up or anything like that. Like I could understand wanting to like almost give yourself like a weighted vest type training. You know what I mean? Like what happens if I go up there with a live dog and just see how long I can go to talk to addressing strangers in public and never acknowledging the living being strapped to my chest.
Okay,
That almost feels like a fun little challenge to go up. Now it's almost like I'm much more happy annoying an audience to get a reaction for myself than trying to get a reaction out of the
right on.
audience for myself. Like I'd much rather just go up there and just be like, yeah, what, yeah,
As long as
it's
you're
a blow up
having
doll,
fun,
whatever, you know.
yeah,
As long as it's or even a character, like a situation where it's like a character or something. There's something about it I've exposed on this show before, and on past episodes of Falls Count Anywhere, Danny. I love bits. I'm up for a bit anywhere. Anywhere, like whether it be a dad joke, whether it be farting to embarrass I the mask thing, the whole like that in public spaces was such a blessing for embarrassing my wife for the longest time because it would just be me making as loud of a noise burp or fart or something like that and me going like just all eyes, just all emotion going, what, why, oh my god, can you yeah, how would you do it? Like just addressing her, not even acknowledging the fact that I definitely was the one that belched, but you all have masks on, nobody can tell.
yeah.
There's ways to gaslight people, but that particular way was one of my favorites. I love bits. I love making people feel uncomfortable. So if it was a situation like that where it's just for me, I could totally see doing stuff like that. Still, isn't that annoying? Isn't that fucking annoying that I could still totally see myself, even knowing, but now the outcome would just be I want them to hate me.
I mean, like if you did that and legitimately it was for your enjoyment, then
Yeah.
I'm all for it. And like if you have the awareness of that, I don't think
Like you're
these
playing right
were
into their hand. What if
right.
they're all like sitting there going like, "We got Danny, that stupid asshole just went
They
up there."
they could be, and like I'm the one talking about it, like
Right.
almost a year later, so they did get me.
This was a past trauma for you, wasn't it?
Right, it was like I was at this show and I can't take no more props on stage.
So
No, just kidding.
if if you have any feelings on props, we are live on Instagram Live. We try to go live anytime we record the podcast. If you want to pound off there, you can. It's at Baby Mermaid Productions on Instagram, as well as live on YouTube at Baby Mermaid Productions. Follow the channel for this show as well as other shows, or you can call in 717-559-2971. You can call the show live and tell us how you feel about props.
The 10th caller gets free tickets to a Tampa Bay Lightning game.
Probably, maybe, who knows?
Maybe. Yeah, probably not.
Yeah, allegedly. I don't. I just heard. I just heard about that used to be a method
Yeah.
like in radio that like people would just lie. There's a
Oh,
weird thing where people think misdirection or lying is misdirection.
well, okay. It's not really a Tampa Bay Lightning game per se. It's just me and Pat dressing up and getting a couple sticks and whacking like a tennis ball at
Yeah.
each other.
The Tampa Play Lightning.
Yeah.
We're the Tampa Play Lightning.
Right. And I mean, it's an exciting sport. You guys should definitely come watch it.
Yeah, I think it's the greatest show on ice. There's different things that we talk about. We were downstairs having a lovely chat
Yeah.
about all of our feelings about like comedy, life,
We worked through a lot of trauma, people. You do not
coffee.
understand.
Found out
It was very therapeutic.
we found out we're very similar
Yes.
in a lot of ways. Not just in the regular normal open mic comedy guy way, but I want to know a little bit more about you. Where did you actually like grow up?
I was born in Baltimore.
Hmm.
And then we, for the first like 6 or 7 years of my life, we moved back from Baltimore to Florida, back to Baltimore,
Where in Florida?
Lakeland,
Okay. Yeah, yeah.
and
Familiar.
yeah. And then when I was 14, we moved to Louisville, Kentucky, and I lived there up until 2019,
Yeah.
and then moved to Hagerstown, like the comedy mecca that is Hagerstown, Maryland.
So
Like,
so why do you think you moved around that much? Like what was the or why did you move around that much?
when I was younger, it's because we were really poor,
Nice.
and my parents kept getting evicted.
Oh, cool.
Um, like, or just did not have the money to continue the lease
Yeah.
on a lot of houses.
Isn't it weird when you realize how little money your parents had? Like
Yes,
you realize how much like like there's something about that. There's like I grew up with we were talking about a lot of it earlier. Like my mom was like a single parent a lot of times, even though she did have a spouse. Like it was there was not a lot of support in that sense. So in a lot of cases, there was a lot of single parent stuff. But like and like anytime you would like complain, like I don't know if it was I can't say that I necessarily had like the most privileged of child, you know what I mean? Like that I didn't really I never went starving. I never really we didn't have to move around a lot like that in that sense. But there was still a lot of situations where I was made painfully clear by my mom, or she told me at least, we don't have the money. We don't have the
yeah,
money. And then but it always seemed to kind of work out in a way. But now when you see like how much money you have at this point, you're like, damn, like was it like that much? Was it that bad where we're getting like notices of late bills or anything like that? She gets like she would wait till she would get those kind of payments. It's just about how you play with that same
yeah,
amount of money.
yeah.
But like with our parents at least around our like how old do you know how old you were like around that time or how old your parents were when they had you?
Uh,
Because that's the realization of realizing like holy shit when they were 35 they had this and, or already had like a a
my
kid this old.
my dad was in his late 30s, early 40s, and my mom was mid 20s because there's like a 16-year age gap. Um, my dad and mom, I mean, met like when he was a lot older, and they became friends at first. He would give her rides, and then eventually it just became a couple.
Yeah.
So my dad was already like pretty advanced in age when he had me.
Hmm.
Um, I don't honestly know how old they were off the top of my head. I can remember birthdays. I
Hmm.
never remember the year.
Okay.
Like
Yeah.
I always like I know your date. I know my mom's birthday is what day it is. I never remember what year she was born. Like I'm really bad with that.
Yeah.
So I hate to say it. I actually do not know how old my mom
No, no,
is.
no. That's fine. I do the same thing too. I for me it's math. I can't do math just because I'm like I'm at a situation where Florida education, you know what I mean? Like just and then also just the desire of not wanting to do it.
Yeah,
But I kind of get down to I get to a situation when again not trying to empathize or not trying to make excuses, but just to realize like to to gain perspective. You know what I mean? To realize like oh if they can raise a family on
yeah,
that, like how am I not able to function with the same with basically the same if not more really at this situation and I should have learned from all their at this point what I would consider their mistakes or their shortcomings
yeah.
in passing on that like look if you survived if you just did it by however you did it by hook or by crook that's what you're passing on
Oh
a lot
yeah,
of times so like that stuff where you're realizing again I don't know what it is like you change so much I think about the person I was when I got married like I got married at 22 to Dom and I think about like the just the way I think now and the way I think then and I'm not saying as far as like performing or as like anything else, like just legitimate, just the human being, the way I think, the way my brain works is so much different than it was then, that it's just like, oh, we got a caller here. Let's see.
Call from
Kenny Rob.
Kenny Rob.
To accept,
Oh,
press
it's
1. To
Kenny.
send a voicemail,
What
press
do you
2.
think? Should we send it to voicemail?
No, you should definitely talk to Kenny.
Hey, Kenny, how's it going, buddy?
Hey, how you doing there?
Hey, it's good to hear from you. This
Kenny.
is Kenny Rob, another wonderful comedian from around the area. This is you can't hear him on Instagram. If you want to hear him, you got to go over to the YouTube channel to hear the phone calls. But don't forget, you can call in. Thank you so much for calling, Kenny. How you doing today, bud?
Well, first of all, I want to say Danny Hucks sucks.
Yes.
Oh no.
I'm waiting for the T-shirt.
I'm sorry. I'm a big procrastinator.
Well, I don't make me make it for you.
Yeah, he might not be able to lump you in on the profits either.
Hey, hey, if you do the work, the money's yours.
Amen.
I realize now, like, I'm trying to get stuff done, but I realize, like, why our parent, like, the generation previous to us was a go-getter generation, because they were under the threat of nuclear war the whole time.
Yeah.
And now that threat is happening again, I feel like I need to get stuff done.
Yeah, I feel like I should be doing more with all this nuclear war talk.
Well, blessings. When opportunity comes, people often miss it because it's dressed in overalls and hard work.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
So opportunities are there. It's just that when we have the idea and have the situation, we realize it's going to be hard work.
Yes.
But the opportunity is there.
Yeah, I get caught up in my head too much. Like the opportunity comes and then the anxiety overflows. Like,
yeah, the opportunity is with us. I feel like it's a lot more big picture. Like the opportunity with Danny and I feels like it's like the opportunity is life, and the oh, you're all right. It's okay. That shit falls over all the time. Don't worry about it. But the opportunity is life,
man.
and like essentially the rest of it is just what you do with that. Like, what can you do with your life? You have this opportunity, but it's frustrating because like we're talking about this, Kenny, right before you called, of like, how the hell did we get this stuff, or how did our parents get this stuff done by saying like, oh, we don't have any money, with really legitimately less money than we're making now, and more lives to feed, more people depending on you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Hard work.
Yeah. I mean, really,
hard
legitimately,
work.
yeah, that's what it is. It's not just going like, oh, I don't have this, I don't have that. It's just doing it, just saying, screw it, I have to do it.
Because you're working for something greater than yourself.
Yeah. I mean,
I did not get focused in life until my daughter.
Okay. Yeah. So it's motivations. How old were you when you had
Right.
your daughter? How
24.
Old? Oh, 34. Wow. Yeah. So yeah.
24.
Oh,
24.
Okay.
24.
Yeah. See, that's the thing is it's so funny because I joked about it, but like Dominique said at one point, she goes, I'm watching this documentary, or I'm watching the Tampa Bay Lightning, the first year that they won the Stanley Cup, or Ovechkin. I believe it was the year Ovechkin won the Stanley Cup. She was like, I'm seeing all these Washington Capitals that year that they had the cup. The summer before, they all had kids. Like all of them had their first kid, and each one of them was motivated. And I said, look, if that's all it took, then the New York Jets would have fucking 17 Super Bowls. Because a lot of Antonio Cromartie alone had like 24 kids, all like 2 months apart.
But guess what?
What?
Antonio Cromartie makes a lot of money.
Exactly. Not anymore.
For his kids. It's not about the Super Bowl. It's about how do you provide for your children.
Right on.
So the kids was a greater, that my responsibility level just changed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. My dad, I was telling him, my dad, we didn't have money. We were poor. Like I said, we moved around a lot. My dad made sure we had food, and sometimes it was through like actually stealing food. Like he had stole food from grocery stores before to feed us. He made sure we never went hungry, but sometimes he would go like we didn't have the money to buy the food, so and he didn't want his kids to starve, so he
Yeah.
found a way.
Right.
Listen, we used to eat. We used to eat and be like, "Oh, that was so good, Mom." And we say, "Mom, ain't you eating?" "Oh, I'm not even hungry right now."
Yeah. My parents would,
Yeah,
You know?
and it's that stuff. But the point I think I was trying to and I was trying to bring up to you even earlier was there's a situation, and it's actually kind of discussed a little bit. We watched that movie, the new movie, The Adam Project with Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah.
And dude, it's like this movie was like, hey Pat, here's how you can fix, like, legitimately, dude, like the story in this book of like this kid losing his dad at a young age and how he treats his mom or how he sees his mom and how much in like retrospect, it's a time travel movie, but it's legitimately a movie dealing with grief. It's a family dealing with grief with action packed adventure attached to it. But it's legitimately like giving them the grace of like, look, you need to realize like you have to show emotions around your kids. You have to grieve. You can't just sit there and worry about them, because in that situation where you're sitting there going, hey, I'm making sure you're fed, I'm making sure you're fed, you're not eating. So now the person that's here, that's supposed to be here to teach me these things, is lessening their life because of me. You know what I mean? Like you have to, it's self-care and it's preservation all around. It's showing them how to do all of the good and the bad. How did you, you know what I mean? Like, and I'm not saying that like that in retrospect, like it's about how I'm viewing it in my perspective as the person. Cause I see families, you know, friends of mine, families, in-laws, stuff like that, that are in a situation where they're having kids and they're saying like, oh, all that matters is I got to make sure my kids are healthy. I got to do, it's like, no, man, you need to be healthy too, because showing them healthy is a lot better than keeping them healthy. To me, you got to show them what healthy looks like, because that's how they're going to learn.
That's why they give you the instructions on the airplane to put the mask on you first.
That's exactly. You got to put it on the kid first, because the kid, unfortunately, at that time,
put it on you first.
Well, yeah, put it on
So
you first. Sorry, yeah. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, but you have to put it on you first so that you can help them. Like, that's the situation of helping yourself so that you can help others.
Yeah,
right.
I just wish
but,
future me.
What got me to calling in is when you all had the conversation about props.
Oh yeah, okay.
I am not a fan of props.
Okay, all right.
And the only reason why I'm not a fan of props is because I started out with props.
Oh, you did, really?
And my sister, who was a comedian before me, she said, Kenny, get away from props, because you're going to find yourself starting to depend on the props and not the wittiness of your mind.
Yeah,
I can see that. Yeah, I can see almost that muscle getting atrophied, or like getting to a point where you're either going like you're riffing on things that you're seeing around, like, oh, what is this, blah blah blah, or like, but you're really just kind of you're painting yourself into a corner where you're not going to give yourself the creative outlet to say, like, if it's not a physical thing I can show somebody, I don't know how to joke about it.
Right. So then I take the props away. Now I'm up there like I'm naked.
What kind of props did you use?
I mean, I would bring up, like, sometimes I would bring up not so much a doll of anything, but I would bring out, if I wanted to express about, you know, something with a carrot or a rabbit, or I would bring up the visual of no matter what it is. You know what I mean? A wig, you know what I mean, or something. I would do something.
Yeah. And see, like, that's the thing, is like that could work. It's all about the moment. A lot of times, like a lot of times,
it is about the moment.
Yeah.
But I didn't want to get stuck, and that's what I had to do. I wanted people to hear me for me.
And that's like you heard earlier, like I was talking about the blow up doll. Like I didn't really address it, and it distracted from my jokes. No one was paying attention to any joke that I was telling.
Yeah.
Right. They was focused on what you had.
Right.
Right. And which ultimately takes away from you.
Yeah. A lot of times you forget that you're a fucking stranger Like you're a complete and total stranger to these people.
Right.
And you're going up and you're introducing you. That's a big thing and people don't realize. Like I didn't realize starting out, like anytime I would go on stage or anything like that, it was like, oh, you have to try to get them to, you introduce yourself and get them to like you.
Yeah.
If somebody came up to me and was like, hey, look at this fucking mouse. Hey, what is this mouse all about? Am I right? Like mice. Oh, watch out for cats.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like if you're just, it would seem very, and not saying that this was you, Kenny, but it would seem so desperate that somebody was trying to like impress me or make me like, just come up and
Right.
be yourself. Come up and
The best thing I can say to that is when you go on stage in a new room, you really have to look at the room
Yes.
as
right.
a living room.
Okay.
I
And,
was gonna
and
say,
you
yeah,
have
you definitely
to
have to look
talk.
around to make sure you don't fall. Right.
Yeah, you have to talk
Mm.
as if you're in your living room,
Yeah.
and your people just laugh and having a good time.
Right.
Right on.
You know,
Feel comfortable.
because when they see your nervousness, it's like blood in the water.
Yep. Yeah, I was just joking about that with we were talking about that downstairs. I was at it was in Baltimore, and it was in front of a predominantly black crowd with a black headliner
Mhm.
that I was working with, and I was I was hosting the show, and it was the late show too. And I remember I went up and I was like, I was just kind of like sludging through my set, but I wasn't really acknowledging the fact that none of it was really hitting, and
Yeah.
until I actually started to go like, hey, this isn't really going well. You know what I mean? Like, and I started to try to acknowledge that fact. Like, you have to be at least realistic. It's maybe not always going to go
Exactly.
well, but you have to at least acknowledge when you have to be realistic. And it's so hard to be realistic when you're so fanciful with props and other things, when you're just like, especially in a Carrot Top kind of way. If you're building props where you're like, hey, this is a Pringles can with wings on it. You know, I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, dude, you put so much effort into this. If it doesn't go
but
well,
I wonder,
be like,
how funny Carrot Top would actually be.
He's pretty funny without him, I think.
I get it, and I'm not anti-prop. Like I think like with someone like Carrot Top, he made all, and Gallagher. We talked about Gallagher. They made their money for props. I get that, and if you're good at it, if this is your thing, I'm all for it. Like I'm not a comedy purist at all. I feel like a lot of people just bring the stuff, like you said, a crutch.
Yeah.
And they have no intention on actually making a joke about it. This is not their thing. They're just like, oh, I need this to get laughs.
Yeah.
And you're not exploring the kind of comic you can really be. You're just like, look, I got a paper bag. Let me put it over my head.
It's all very surface level. Yeah. There's no like, you're not going to get into an autobiographical, or what is it? Autobiography of like yourself.
I'll take either way.
Autobiographical.
I'll take whatever you. Look,
it's biographical.
You know what? I'll take whichever word you want.
When we did Comic View, this guy came on stage with a guitar.
Right on.
And couldn't play it.
Was that the joke? Like his joke was like he couldn't play the guitar,
he didn't say nothing about the guitar until the last.
Oh, so that was his closer.
30 seconds of his routine, and I'm going, "What are you doing?"
Did it make the air?
But the moment was so big.
Yeah.
That he needed a prop. I needed something other than myself.
He needed that security that the guitar gave him.
Right. To me, it's for real. It's a situation with, it's like, but it's the difference between being in a band and being like a solo act. It's having that buffer in between you. You know what I mean? If you can escape to something else. The same thing with like, I can just drown out the silence with a guitar. You know what I mean? La, 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 la.
Right.
I've been talking.
Comedy is the hardest form of entertainment.
Right. Yes, I agree.
You know, because if you can sing a little bit, okay?
Yeah.
People will listen. If you can carry a tune, not a great singer, but carry a tune, people will listen to you all night.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it worked for Good Charlotte.
Yeah.
if you can sing a little bit, but you play an excellent guitar, people will listen to you.
Yeah.
If you're a little bit funny, people will not.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
We were talking about props and bombing in Baltimore. Oh man, like, and I would do this again because you were telling it made me laugh. But a comic before me went up with a guitar, and I saw this fan off to the side, and I'm like, this is gonna be funny. And I grabbed the fan. I'm like, look, guys, I brought an instrument and put the fan between me and the microphone to try and do the fan voice with my jokes.
Yeah. But it just blew air into the mic, so I was like,
I mean, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, either way, they were not enjoying this. It made me laugh.
yeah.
But like, yeah, that was my Baltimore experience.
Do we have any? Was there I see pounding. Probably mostly people saying, "I can't hear the call."
Well, there's one guy that he likes one of our beards, but he's a married man, so he doesn't know. Like,
Oh,
like I assume it's my beard, but I don't want to make that. Like, it could be yours. Yours is look.
mine is
It's
good on
not
camera.
always the length. It's not the size of the beard.
Right.
It's how you use it.
It's the follicles on the face.
Right. So I can't be sure which beard he likes.
That's right.
I assume it's mine. And Manny's like talking to us about the props and stuff. He's
Manny's very accepting of a lot of things, and Manny, as a juggler, he loves hypnotists. He loves magic acts, I think. Oh no, he's against magic acts.
Against magic acts?
Yeah, he doesn't like magicians, magicians, which are basically just prop comics, but with a little bit, they hide the props better.
Magic and a comedian have a baby. My comedian,
a Mitch comedian.
Mitch comedian.
Kenny, I haven't seen you in a while.
A comagician.
I showed up. I showed up Thursday.
Did you go up?
No.
Oh. How come?
Well, I just didn't. I wasn't feeling it.
Okay. No, I totally understand. I can relate.
It's a million comics at the Zone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, they don't want to hurt anybody's feelings, so they had 42 people sign up, and you hurt everybody in the audience's feelings. So.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. You can feel it, like when they go, "We have 42 comics tonight," and you go, and you just kind of like,
I get that, but like the way that's ran, that 42 comics,
it goes,
is still it goes. The time flies quicker. Like we did open mic in Hagerstown, and it was like 12 comics, and I swear that thing lasted from 8 to almost like 11 o'clock. Man, it was like it kept dragging on. I mean, the host was doing like almost 10 minutes between.
Well, that was the problem there.
Yeah.
I think that's something we were another thing we were talking about, because it's a weird situation that I'm in a lot of times, Kenny, is like I am pursuing so many different things, like kind of in a professional way, that it kind of if 2 or 3 of them don't seem to go right, it just feels like that I just can talk myself out of anything. Do you know what I mean? Like in a situation like that where I was legitimately going to leave Thursday. I was like straight up. It got to like, it was like 10 minutes before, and I was like, if it gets to this comic, I'm gonna see if it's at like I was just trying to take it out of my hands to say if it gets to this comic and it's this time, I'll just leave and I'll just say, hey, it's a little too late, I got to go home.
Right.
But I didn't. It's this weird situation, and maybe you can help me with this, Kenny, or you, Danny. I get to a point with a lot of my pursuits where I feel unsatisfied, or I feel like I'm treading water. I'm not doing what I need to be doing to grow, to get better. And I don't know if that feeling is me being overwhelmed by me putting too much into it and I need to take a break, or if is that a thing where I need to power through to push, you know what I mean? So like it's a situation where I don't know if this is a push or pull situation where I need to pull back a little bit.
Push. It's definitely a push.
Do you think so?
It's definitely not a pull.
So if it's that, like I guess that's the point, is when you feel like nothing you're doing is good enough, how do you find the motivation to do more, to rely on that?
Is it what you feel, or is it what the audience feels?
That's part of the struggle, is the fact that, am I projecting? You say, hey, I enjoy when you perform or whatever like that.
Yeah.
If you
Right.
go up and you like, reassessing old tapes or listening to old sets or doing all this
Right.
other stuff, it's even in the things that you perceive to be better than they were, or you know what I mean, rose colored sunglasses, whatever it may be, or where even my spot is in general. Like, all of those things come into play whenever I think about this stuff, and I kind of think, like, what's the point? Do I push further? How do I push? You know what I mean? Like that. Those are the questions that always come up.
You remember? Do you remember when I went up and you went up after me?
At are you talking about at was that Fratelli? Was that the bar show?
Fratelli. Right.
Yes. Yeah.
How well did you think you did?
Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Like because when all I can think about is how well you did before me. That kind of, you know what I mean? Like those situations, I always think of, like, I remember the situation that you're talking about, because we actually don't get to perform a lot together, which is
I know,
which is sad. But
so
what did you
do? But what did you do after I got off stage?
I feel like I had to reset.
Yeah. And you reset, and you gave them your style of comedy, and it was received.
Yeah. That time it works.
I think resetting is a lost art.
Listen.
Yeah.
But that gave you the meter that you're good enough.
Yeah. I see that's another issue I run into a lot of times too, is like, fluke, is imposter syndrome. We were talking about that too, is a lot of times it's going like, yeah, sure, that night it worked because they were in a good crowd. I always give the credit to other performers. I always say, well, that means Kenny went up there and put him in a good mood. I just had to go in there and just kind of sweep up. Do you know what I mean? Like, or I had to just go like, oh, I have to change. Like, it felt like I was playing with house money, because I felt like, do you know what I'm saying? Like, I never can give myself that credit. And I appreciate you saying, Kenny, of saying like that I was able to reset the room, but I really just felt like, I'm like, it's almost like when a coach comes in and wins a Super Bowl with a team the first year, and you're like, was that really your team?
I think Dan Teague has been making a good point on his
what's Dan say?
I mean, he starts out with, as someone who has failed at most things for 32 years, I have this one, chase everything you want professionally or as an amateur. You won't ever progress past a certain point until, sorry, I have to scroll.
Yeah, it's okay.
You let go of the end game and learn just to enjoy what you're doing.
Yeah.
And I think that's a perfect point. But it's so hard to follow that. Like, imposters, like, even when I do good and people are like, hey, you were great tonight. You made like, I did that show with Kenny and I got the feature for him. Great show. Had so much fun. Love you, Kenny. And like, I thought I did good at the show, but on the drive home.
You did.
Yeah. And on the drive home, I felt like, oh, I like this work, and like, oh, maybe this joke didn't work.
Yeah, you overanalyze.
Was I too meta? Like, I'm trying to be more meta. Like, I like meta comedy, but also I'm like, do I need to be meta for this to work?
And I think that's what Kenny's
this is what you're not doing. You're not enjoying the moment.
Right. Exactly. That's true. Yeah.
Because guess what? By the time they get home, they can't even remember the jokes you did.
Yeah.
Right.
That's true. And that's the thing, is you always give yourself way more credit than, like, exactly. If you were just to think, did I have fun? Was I comfortable? Did I have a good time? That's ultimately the success. You didn't, you know what I mean? Like, that is the true success, is that's how the best art's going to come out. And I think that's a great point, Kenny, but it's just so hard to be in the moment like that.
Have you ever bombed?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
So listen to me. Danny, the show you did with me, and the show, did you bomb?
No.
Yeah, you can tell the difference.
Did you bomb?
Yeah, you're right. Yeah,
you can tell the difference.
You understand me? Like you can second guess yourself all day long, but you know what bombing feels like.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, in the moment.
Absolutely. Yeah. So if you don't have that bombing feeling, cut yourself some break.
Yeah.
Yeah. And honestly, Kenny, that's great.
Yeah.
That's honestly the best way to look at it, in the sense of if you're gonna look at it as an all or nothing thing, is did you have a good time or didn't you have a good time?
And
Yeah.
Yeah.
and that's why I'm trying to get better. That's why like I appreciate like riding up to Comedy Zone with Andrew
I
and
need to do that more.
Karen
I need more
and
comic hangs, man. I
Carlos when Carlos was coming out with us, because like just the conversation with them preoccupies my mind
Yeah.
and allows me to just enjoy the moment. Like I enjoy, like, I come from a scene, and not to knock Louisville as a scene, but Louisville didn't really hang out after shows.
Mhm.
Everyone went home. There's a lot of people with kids, so everyone just went home. So Harrisburg, after the show, people hang out.
Yeah.
And I'm not used to that. Like, I'm now getting used to it. And I absolutely love that. And like that's keeping me from having that existential crisis after a show.
Hell yeah.
That just hang out with other comics has been helping me. Our talk earlier helped a lot, man. Like,
Yeah, dude, me too. Yeah, it was, I legitimately, it was very hard to get out of bed today.
yeah,
It was super hard, and like it's just it's not like it's not to be like a down on myself, but just there's been so many layers of shit to
Yeah.
have to like sink, like to not like just to dig my heels in to push up to normal,
yeah,
that
yeah.
it gets to a point where like that dark cloud can start really, like it can really fuck up a lot of your day. Like you're not your day to day, but like you're just your life. Like I don't know how to put it. I don't know if I'm wording it correctly, but
I
No,
mean,
like,
you're saying it right.
it's
yeah.
like it's just a thing where like really, no, I'm not the worst at fucking jujitsu. I'm not the best, but I'm
I'm a
it's
whole
also
lot.
because I'm not comfortable like I should. I'm not rolling the way I want to. And when that goes into, okay, and then also you have a bad set. Oh man. And then also the numbers aren't great. You start to look at the negative things, and it connects this, it creates this reality that if you just have a nice conversation with a buddy,
Yeah.
that it can pull you out of it. And I don't think I reach for that enough.
Because I want you to know that you are so much better at jujitsu than me.
Yeah, that's
Like,
true.
Absolutely,
That is true.
So much better than me.
I will say that. Not better than Dan. Not Dan is somebody who has submitted me in competition, but
Well,
it's a thing that like
which is weird because I beat Dan. No, just kidding. I'm sorry. I'm
yeah.
sorry.
Now we got to get a
Dan
best
would-
of here.
Dan would crush me.
But there's a level of like, also maybe sometimes you're in the wrong weight class.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like there's those options too, and I, that's why ultimately I get out of bed. That's why is because I know that it not necessarily, I still enjoy all these pursuits, and that's what I need to focus on. And I think that's a great point, Kenny.
Yeah. I think for me, a lot of it, like I deal with that too, wanting to get out of bed. But I am really blessed. Like I have
Ultimately,
a great
yes. Yeah.
group of friends that have been there for me through everything. Like they've been there through my attempts to unalive myself.
Yeah.
They broke down my door when I was living by myself to get me the help that I needed. I have family that's always been there for me. And I think that heck, my niece, she's 17. I told yesterday I forgot my wallet.
Right.
And I was in Frederick, from Hagerstown. I forgot my wallet. And I didn't realize it till I parked my car in a parking garage, which I'm not getting my car back if I
Yeah.
don't get my wallet.
Right.
I'm gonna have to beg someone to like, hey, can you get my car out? I called my niece and she, no problem. She's like, yeah, I'll come, and just like brought me my wallet, never complained. Like I have people that are there for me that just,
Right.
I know that. So I think that's what's been like my motivation.
Yeah. It's very isolating. We all.
Here's the
Sorry. Go ahead.
Here's the question.
Yeah.
You say to yourself, because this is depression,
Yes.
you know, anxiety and depression. And so the question is, do I want to die, or do I want the pain to stop?
Yeah,
Right.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And so when we say, well, I want the pain to stop. Well, when we make that decision to make the pain to stop, death is so far away from that. But when we're in our depression, they seem like they're very close.
Yeah, you
but
realize how
they're on actually two opposite ends of the spectrum.
Yeah.
And so when you say, well, I want the pain to stop, then you have to say, well, what's the pain?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Because sometimes we get comfortable in the pain.
Yeah.
That we don't want to get out of it because we don't know how to function outside of pain.
I mean, that's legit.
Yeah, I think that's and that's ultimately why that's the choice you make when you get out of bed. Like that's the choice, as you're saying. Like, no, I don't. It's not over. Like, it's and luckily, I don't mean this to sound like a shithead or anything, but I'm lucky enough that I haven't had those thoughts of like, I'm just having more existential, like, who am I? What am I in this world kind of things. Not necessarily, it's not like a on off kind of argument. I'm not saying, do I want, it's just, what am I pursuing? It's not a question of pursuing life with me. It's just, how do I want to continue pursuing this to be the happiest person I am? And
well, guess what? You can pursue more than one thing.
Yeah, and that's the thing is like, but like I said, the fault of this, Kenny, is it's so fulfilling when you're at least average, Adam, or you feel like you're average. It's all the perception. It's all your self-image, and that's something that I struggle with. So when that self-image flips on all of those things of like, hey, I'm just having a good time. If it's just this, what are you doing with your life kind of thing, it's triple. It's triple that pressure that I'm putting on myself. And I understand that it's all on myself, but it's those things that Manny actually brings up a good point here. He said an audience can tell you if you're enjoying yourself or not. If you come off as robotic or just going through the motions, they'll pick up on it. And I noticed that.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, I can see that in other people, but for some reason, it's the self-reflection part of it. Of you never want to admit when that's my problem, or the thing where I'm just going through the motions.
I do not do. One thing I do not do is I do not lie to comics. I'll say good set, or I'll say nothing.
Yeah, same. It's hard sometimes, but yeah, I do the same thing.
How many times have you walked? I've had good set back, good set, and then you get off stage and you walk right by me. I don't say a word.
Yeah.
You don't say. I don't lie. If you ask me, I'm gonna tell you the truth.
My favorite one when I first started out was when they didn't want to tell you that you did bad. They would always say, hey, you got good stage presence.
Dude, it's the weirdest thing. It's the weirdest thing that my mom does this, and I know she doesn't do it on purpose. I know for a fact she doesn't do this on purpose. And if you're watching or listening, Mom, I don't hold this against you, but she'll ask me for tape. She'll go like, when was the last time you performed? I want your sets. I want to hear, like, come on. And then I'll go like, okay, and I'll send her stuff, and she just won't say anything. I'll send her a clip, or I'll send her a set, and she will watch it, and she just won't say it. And I'm just like, okay. Or if she does say something, she'll go, you look so comfortable up there. And I'm like, so how are the fucking jokes? Was it really, really funny?
You look like you smell really good.
Yeah, you look so good up there. Wow, you look very confident. How do I sound, Mom? Do I sound funny? Do you know what I mean?
And I always thought it was a compliment at first. I was like, they're saying I got good stage presence. Oh, yeah, right. And then the first time I said it, I was like,
oh. Yeah, you noticed.
That's what they
You're like,
meant.
oh shit, that's what they've been saying to me.
Like,
you look so comfortable.
Okay.
Or she'll go like, they really seem to like you, and it's like, how do you like it? What do you think of?
They really seem to like you.
What do you think? This is your assessment. I know they were laughing.
And it's hard to ask that. Like, you don't want to like pry it out. You want to be like, and
so that's why I don't offer. That's why I don't offer the sets, because I'm not going to just sit here and go, I sent you a link and then nothing, or you just like the link. Hey, okay. You know
what?
My favorite.
I'm gonna tell you what the biggest mistake comics make.
Okay.
They really think that people remember their jokes.
Yeah, we're talking about that. Yeah.
And they constantly keep trying different material instead of building and solidifying a solid set.
Yeah. Yeah, ultimately, like I know we've all seen documentaries on comics, and we all have ones that we like to quote, but legitimately, I think the truest science of it is it takes this much, like takes about a year to write like 15 minutes, depending. I mean, like a
Yeah.
solid fucking 15 minutes,
Solid 15 minutes.
especially in this
Exactly.
area. You know what I mean? Where you're not getting like 30 sets a night, and you're not
Right.
able to.
You're right.
You're
I've been doing this for 7 years, and everyone's like, I see people like 2 years out, like, I got 45, I got an hour worth, and they're like, how much do you have? I'm like, I can do 35 minutes.
yeah.
I can do that. I'm comfortable with 30. I'm more comfortable with 30, but I can push it to 35
And I could fake my way through a headlining set,
because
that kind of thing of
Yeah.
like, I got enough that makes it
Yeah.
look like I can do it on
But-
purpose.
right. And
I got enough time.
right.
But how much fire do I have?
Exactly. And how much of
Right.
it is good? Because if you think about it, if you're doing 3-minute sets, if you legitimately are only, and not that this is not a drag on anyone, if you're only doing, let's say, the local sets around, let's say 3 or 4 mics a night or whatever, that's like 5, 10, maybe 13, like 12, 13 minutes tops, depending on how many people are signing up.
Right.
And how much, so you're getting that much amount of time. You got to go up, there's a couple seconds that you're going, hey, how's everybody doing tonight? Oh, cool. And then you have to set up the joke. You got to, like, all of that shit, you got to use a joke to try to get into it. Like, writing and building jokes takes, if you're building it 3 minutes at a time, 4 minutes at a time, that 15 minutes can take you up to a fucking year to write something that's like bangers, like something that goes up and it does exactly what you're supposed to do, like Kenny does.
Right.
Joke, laugh, joke, like, where it's, and after that time you hold on to that for how long? Do you know what I mean? Like, keeping it relevant, keeping it everything. It's a never ending fucking thing.
I do find though, like, so when you have like 20 minutes you want to work on at a good time, a lot of comics won't do this. You find a mixed mic. You find something like a musical
I did it in
mic,
Tampa, yeah.
and like, because they usually tend to give you like 15, 20 minutes.
Yeah.
So if you had that, like, oh, I need to try this time, when I have that, I'm like, I'm gonna seek out like a mixed mic in the area. I'm gonna go to like a musical mic.
Yeah, Sacred Grounds was a thing in Tampa that I did, like a coffee shop thing that they would give you like 15, 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And at that time was way too much time. Like, if it should be switched now. I should be trying to find that mic now to do that. But yeah, you're absolutely right.
And I find most of the time it's a willing audience, because no, they're not comics. They're not caught up in their head. So like, I find most of the time it's a willing audience.
Yeah.
I mean, not if you get like poets. Poets kind of suck.
Yeah, poets are kind of lame sometimes,
Just
but
kidding. Bad joke.
sorry, there's a cat coming up. Boom.
Oh, hey, we got a special guest, everybody.
Hey, Stanley's here. Look at that. Stanley's here.
Hey, okay, he said you gotta have the mic closer
Yeah,
to you.
he's set designer.
And now he wants to rub up on my mic. That's fine.
Hey, buddy. But you're right. But Kenny, I think you make some really great points as far as what it comes down to. Like, you just have to, like, nobody's really categorizing your jokes for the most part.
Right.
People might remember their favorite joke of yours and say like, oh yeah, I love it when you do that one, but like, people take that as, oh, they're all, and also there's a weird thing too, where every comic seems to think every other comic is sitting around talking about their sets or how they did or however.
Right.
It's like, and legitimately, in the nicest way, I call this my own special version of peaceful nihilism. None of this really matters, so just go have a good time. Don't actually worry about and even if they are, so what? Who fucking cares? Who really cares if people are sitting there going, other comics are telling you you're not funny? You want human beings to like you, not comics.
Right.
I'm like,
oh yeah, we got some Stanley pounding. Stanley, cat emoji, and look at that butt. Manny's a big fan of Stanley. They're good friends.
that's good. I'm technically allergic to cats.
Are you really?
No, it's fine. Like, I'm allergic to cats, but like, I used to cat sit for my friend, which is weird. I just like would just like, when a cat comes into one room, I go out to the other one.
See how considerate he is, though?
No,
he realized
he
that.
heard
He's
it.
like, oh
He's
shit,
great.
I'm sorry,
He's like,
pal.
no, it's I appreciate you. You know what? You're a good dude, cat.
That's a cool cat, Lord Stanley.
No, you're talking earlier. My favorite backhanded compliment I ever got at a show. I was doing a show, and it was a contest, and I mean, it was actually like a judged contest, not like audience vote.
Yeah.
And I did well. I got in top 3, and a guy walks out. He's like, "Hey man, in 2 or 3 years, you're gonna be really good." I'm
Damn.
like, and it's meant so like positive.
He
He's
meant
meant
it
it in a
nicely,
good
yeah.
way, but I'm just like, oh,
So what about now?
right? It's like you were like, oh, and yeah.
But unfortunately, that's how we view it. Like that's how it comes down
Oh,
to
yeah.
is this weird thing of like you're only focusing on the negative, and that's truly what like Kenny was saying. That's depression. That's anxiety. That's
Right.
stuff that's a
Because
filter that you work everything through.
if I say, hey Pat, you and Danny, if you keep it up in the next 3 years, you're going to be really good. So then you go, then I'm not good now.
Exactly. Yes,
Right.
that's what we hear. Yeah.
Yeah.
And what I'm saying is, in 2 to 3 years, every time you touch a mic, you'll get a check.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. And that's the
They
filter
mean
that
it
we
well.
work it through. Yeah.
They mean I know it's meant well. I had a guy I opened for Hacksaw Jim Duggan. Credit. I'm not trying to throw names out there. Hacksaw Jim Duggan, everybody. I opened for Hacksaw Jim Duggan at a show, and I did pretty well. Lot of good comics on the show. Had a fun time. And this guy walks up, he's like, "Man, you're really consistent, but you have no gut busters."
Damn.
And I'm right. I'm like,
Yeah.
this is a compliment, and he meant
A
it well.
comic
But I'm
or
like,
a comic or
oh,
an
regular,
audience?
like a regular dude.
For some reason, if it's a comic, I go, fuck you, dude. What the hell? But if it's an audience member, I'm like, damn. All right. Like,
yeah.
thanks. I always say thank you, I
Now,
guess.
now listen. Now, Pat, I'm gonna get to you.
Yeah.
But Pat, on your theory, if it's a comic, what the hell? Because you think you're in competition with the comic.
Yeah.
That means the comic was back there laughing, but not like he's saying, "Wow, this guy could really take it over the top."
He has the potential. Yeah.
Right. So that's a compliment. But as far as no gut busters, I understand what he's talking about.
Yeah. I can see that.
Because I laugh, Danny. I laugh at your jokes. I do. I really do. But is there a gut busting? Oh my God! You understand?
Yeah. And when
And
you
that's
really,
what we want.
yeah, you want to
as
think
a
about
comic.
that, like anytime, and especially if it is because I was thinking that too. If you think about it from a comic, they're thinking like, I really think your premises are good or whatever, or
Yeah.
essentially they're just saying like, hey, I think you're great, but whatever, okay. But what the audience member is saying when they say stuff like that, they're saying it because they're like, I could probably do what I got a couple gut, but I could probably help you, kid. Let me help you out.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
Yeah. Like I mean,
Which is funny because you're right, because we do perceive it the other way of like, with the comic, they are just complimenting you. With the audience member, they're almost saying like, well, I could probably do what you do. Keep it up,
right,
kid.
exactly.
It's like, all right.
and I mean, and I get it, and it's still hard. Like that one, God, that was years ago, and I still think about that. Like,
you
I've
brought it up.
I've gotten better. I know I've gotten better, but like, yeah, that's one. It's like, oh, hey, like, what about now? And I punched like another person in the stomach right on stage. Like, this is my gut bust. No.
Actually, speaking of gut busters, I'm gonna go use the restroom real quick. I'll be right back. Kenny, you guys enjoy your conversation.
Me and Kenny gonna talk.
You guys are hosting the show now.
Okay, so hey, Stuart, there, it's Stuart, right? Stanley. The seat's open if you want to join us. Stanley, he's ignoring us, Kenny.
That's all right, but and so it's the perception that literally is going to make or break your success in this game.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I agree 100%. For me, it's hard to get over that though. And like,
go ahead.
I know I'm good at performing. I know I can make a show better, but then like, even after that, the business side of it is just, I'm not good at that. I hate videos after I make them. I hate asking for spots. I know a closed mouth doesn't get fed, but I hate asking for spots. I'm so bad at the business side of it, and that's like what stresses me out the most in comedy.
So listen, why are you asking for spots?
I tend not to, but I think like if you're not like you just send your like avails out to
No, you can do that. Yeah.
yeah, bookers. I consider that a form of like asking, like
That's not asking.
yeah.
That's not it. Listen, see, do you see what you're doing? You're changing a situation into what you think it is. I'm just sending out my availabilities.
Right.
You understand? I'm not asking for anything.
Yeah, I can see that. It's just
No, not here, Danny. It's not. I can see that. That's what it is.
yeah.
You got to take yourself out of this one. It's not about what you can see. It's about what it is. The fact is, I'm sending out my availabilities.
Yeah.
It's not begging.
Yeah. I mean, you're right.
Are you talking about like putting out to get?
Yeah.
See, to me, so one of the things that I feel like a lot of times with like putting yourself out there, especially the more yourself you become on stage, I feel like the more hurtful, or a lot of the more hurt you become because of the rejection. So a
Yeah,
lot of
I
times
think
it's with me and like festivals. You know what I mean? Like I'll
yeah.
put out for there and then you just get no reaction, and then you're just like, huh.
And
You're kind of like,
that's what hurts. Like I can handle a no. It's like I can handle a no better than I can handle someone just not like caring to
give me notes,
respond.
feedback.
Yeah, like
Like,
So here's the question, fellas. Why do I have to
why do I have to
give you feedback?
ultimately you don't. And we know that.
Yeah.
It's just it's.
I think the silence is the feedback. I think that's the problem.
Right.
Is that it's a
If you're sending me your veils, right?
right.
Yeah.
And I'm booked 6 months out, right?
Yeah.
I don't really have time to worry about 7 and 8 months out.
Right.
So I don't say anything. And all of a sudden, out of the blue, you'll get a call. Hey, can you middle for?
Yeah.
You go, yeah, great.
Yeah. It's
Like,
just there's so much personality brought into this because it's such it's like a small business operation essentially,
Right.
but the small business is you. So if any
Right.
critiques of the business is a critique of you and or your personality or the way you conduct yourself. So it's hard, first of all, not to take it personally,
Right.
and it's hard. It's so much. It makes the decision to give up or to not put yourself out there so much easier because like that's the growth. You're scared of growth in that sense. You're not scared of growth, you're scared of failure. You're scared of putting yourself the thing out there, or to say, see, I have no problem with self-assessment and to try to get better, but if it's a situation where I feel like the work that I've been putting in is not helping me to that extent, that's where I start to feel useless, because I feel like it's almost like being lost in the jungle.
Yeah.
And you realize you've been hiking for 3 days in the wrong direction. It's kind of like this thing of like,
have any of you ever been completely booed off the stage?
no, technically no.
Right.
No.
But to tell you the
I've
truth,
gotten
Kenny, I would
booed.
much rather the boo. You've been booed though?
Listen to me.
Oh my God.
This is 25 years of the game. I've been booed.
This was you were at 25 years now, or this was when you were at 25 years?
No, at year 2.
Oh, year 2.
1,
oh wow.
2. I tried to do Showtime at the Apollo.
Oh, that's a big boo too. That's a really
I
big
went
boo.
out there, rubbed the tree stump and everything. And I said, "Hey, my name's Kenny Robb. Yeah." I said, "Huh?"
Oh damn, they didn't even
Don't let
They didn't even like your
they didn't
name.
even give a chance.
Listen. And then they start clearing their throats to boo. Boo! I said, "Wow."
Damn.
Damn. So wait.
So
So they were like, wait. You didn't hear us. We said
exactly,
boo.
that exactly.
Manny brings up a great point here in the YouTube chat. He says, I can't imagine anyone booing Kenny Robb. 2 years in, I could imagine 2 years in any comic that I know. Like it's not completely and especially at the Apollo, that's like they have expectations that they do not share with you until you are on stage.
I've
Exactly.
I watched some videos from my first couple of sets that I ever did, and I boo.
I would, yeah, I
Like,
boo myself off the
I'm
stage.
I'm like, I hope you can hear this. This is me. Like we're talking the Atom Project. This is me from the future. You suck. Boo.
I boo Manny every time he
But-
goes on stage, but it's ironic.
But now,
Yeah,
hey, I'm going for the jugular.
yeah,
Right
yeah,
on.
yeah, yeah. If,
I like Manny.
Yes.
You know, y'all when you talk about Manny, I think Manny is absolutely hilarious.
when you
Oh,
want to talk,
absolutely,
when you talk
absolutely.
about somebody that's comfortable on stage, do you know what I mean?
Manny,
Right.
Manny, Michael Donald, Damien, man, all three of them. Like, I it's hard for me to stay in the room, and I've done it. I've gone to open mics for 7 years, so it's hard to stay in the room the whole time for me.
Yeah.
I try to, but there's like certain comics I try to make sure I'm in the room for. Manny, Mike, Damien, Josh. I want to see their sets. I really do. I want to see them go on stage. Kenny Robb, when Kenny Robb is there, I legit want to see you go on stage, Kenny. Like, I find out where you are on the list, and if I'm outside, I'm like, oh, Kenny Robb's gonna be up in like 3. I run into the room.
Right.
I try to be there for the last couple people too, because this one, like,
Yeah, they need.
Yeah.
You want to be there. You want to be the safety net.
Manny is so witty,
Yeah.
yes,
so quick, and some of the stuff. And listen, some of the stuff most people don't get.
Yeah.
And I'm over in the corner hollering, and then sometimes Manny will go, "Thanks, Kenny."
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, I think to me, when I like this is completely I have a kind of a different way. Like my thing is with almost that same list of people, and Manny included. Those are my favorite people to make laugh. If I can make those people laugh,
yeah,
like if I can make Charles laugh or Kenny or if I can make, I love making Manny laugh because it makes me feel like the funniest fucking guy in the world.
yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like I
legit.
know that Manny's not necessarily a super hard laugh necessarily, but it kind of shows his sense of humor in that sense. And that like that's what I am striving for is for people that have Manny's sense of humor that like that's the kind of thing of like it's a compliment. Like it feels like it's a compliment. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like he's not just giving you a laugh.
I
When you
absolutely-
get a laugh from Manny, like that's what I'm saying.
When I first started coming to Harrisburg, I was kind of intimidated by like when I first started coming, it was Manny, Michael Donald.
Well, because Manny, if
Damian
you look at,
Robinson.
Manny is a very
Yeah.
imposing figure.
They're
Like
the-
if he's
and-
like very, you know,
Oh, absolutely. But like on
Yoked.
comedy wise, Manny, Mike, and Damien were legit just like amazing. So it's like, I don't know. I was a little intimidated. I mean, I knew what I could do on stage, but I was still intimidated because they were really good, and they were to me scene bearers. You know, the people that like are always there and like the top of the list comics. So I was a little intimidated at first, but like the minute like I got off stage one time and they were all like, "You did great," I was like, "All right, this is great."
Yeah.
Like it's
Look, funny story. When I first came over there to open mic and sign up,
yeah,
Mike explained to me how open mic worked.
and you're like,
And I was like,
oh, okay.
"Oh, no." I just said, "Oh, okay."
Cool.
And you get 3 minutes. He said, Mike went across and then listen, if you're not funny, We'll give you a light early and give you an out. You just come on off.
Yeah.
And I said, oh, thank you. That's so gracious. Thank you.
That happened to me when I first moved out here. My first open mic was at Guido's in Frederick.
Uh-huh.
And I've been doing it for like 5 years then, and or 4 or 5. And I got to Frederick and he explained it. Half the people had already left there. And the guy brought me up as a new comic, brand new comic, which is fine.
Yeah.
And I just made
Isn't
a
that
joke.
fun?
I just made a joke about not being new, and then like the host kind of heckled me a little bit about it, which was kind of funny. And then
Yeah.
I switched to my A material to like, oh hey, like
I'm actually not
Yeah.
new.
Right,
Like,
and,
like you can't just assume just because I haven't been here doesn't mean
Right.
I'm brand new. Like, it's not the only comedy place ever.
right. And I came and they didn't know me. I mean, they didn't know me
Yeah,
from
yeah.
Adam. And it's not like I just want to be like, no, I could do this. Like, and I guess when I also go to a new spot for the first time, I always kind of want to throw out a couple A material.
Yeah,
jokes
because you're trying to get booked in that
Right.
area. Like that's the thing that a lot of people. I think it's the funniest thing with like comics that go to different open mics and they're like, he's just doing jokes. Like, yeah. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, what? Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I don't know what the fuck. What are you supposed to do here? Because if this is a person you don't know, he's trying to. Nobody understands the fucking crazy projections that they put on other people. Are just like, it's just literally this person is going up. If somebody's an asshole the first time I meet them, I go, whoa, and I try to go, I bet they're just insecure. Like they're just
Right.
they're somebody who is. So like it's the same idea. They're just doing jokes because none of us have seen them, and they're trying to impress us because they want to be our friend. like nobody is willing to be on that set. You never get out of high school, Kenny. Everybody thinks people like, oh, when you're in high school, I'm gonna be glad when I'm in work and I don't have to deal with any of this fucking drama anymore. Nobody
Right.
leaves high school mentally. Nobody leaves high school anymore.
Absolutely.
It's-
I 100% agree with that.
Everybody is still in high school, so it's just about literally unfortunately you always have to be the bigger man or woman in the situations, and you always have to be professional. And if you do that, I think ultimately the image gets clearer at the end. But it's still
being I'm a much older comic than most comics there.
Yeah.
There is a lot of maturity there.
It's weird. It's just interesting because it's like we could all coexist and turn this into a legitimate actual scene. Like Damien, like I said, Damien brought up the greatest point, I feel like, on Proper Ebonics. He was talking about like we're we're in between Pittsburgh and Philly, two huge markets that people come to. And if they're traveling through, we could get real actual comics in this area, in this scene, if we actually try to work together, kind of thing. And I know I've been a part of it. I know I've been a part of the high school bullshit. That's why you don't like I don't like the fact that it always ends up being a situation where no matter how much past it you are, or how more mature you are, that you feel, it still fucking hurts when people talk shit about you behind your back.
Oh, yeah.
It still sucks to feel like you're not wanted.
Yeah.
And when you're made to feel that way, it just distracts from everyone's main goal, or from what I would think everyone's main goal is, my goal of just doing this just as my job. I don't need to be the biggest. I don't need to take what you have to be successful. I just want like the stuff that I want. Like I just want the thing, and I'm happy to help my friends and other people, but that's things you don't have in high school. If you're not at that emotional maturity level, you don't have people thinking that way. You just have this thing of like of petty like arguments or differences turning into this weird thing. And but in the same sense that we're doing to ourselves, Kenny, like that's the same idea. I have a couple bad sets and all of a sudden I'm like, what the fuck am I doing with my life? Or what am I,
Right.
Yeah.
And but it's legitimately, again, if you're separated from that group, if you don't feel accepted by that group, you're going to isolate yourself. And when you isolate yourself is when you get into those deeper depressions and stuff.
Oh, absolutely.
Right.
So if we all just admit out loud, we need each other to succeed, then we can all just try to move on.
And
it doesn't mean that we can't succeed without each other. But like, if we want to all succeed, we need each other. Like it's a thing that people need.
Sorry,
Other people.
Allergies, not crying, but I am crying.
I'm bringing. Oh, is it the cat?
No, I'm good, dude.
I have
I'm
allergy medicine. I legitimately do, like over the counter stuff. Do you want to try it?
Maybe if it gets worse.
Okay. Okay. Let me know.
No.
I thought it brought him to
now.
tears.
Don't wait till it gets worse.
I think I'm gonna be okay. But honestly, I found Harrisburg to be more welcoming than many scenes I've been in.
Right.
Like Harrisburg has been very welcoming to me. I legitimately love every single person that I've met at the Comedy Zone. Like and even Hanover with like the Church of Satire.
Yeah.
I love this area. The only other scene that I've been in that has been as cohesive as that is Cincinnati.
Really? Wow.
Cincinnati comics are, I will always praise Cincinnati.
Jeff Tate comes out of there, right?
Yeah.
I love Jeff Tate.
Oh, I love the first time I met Jeff Tate, I kind of was a spaz.
Yeah, I could see that.
Jeff Tate, huge fan of Jeff Tate, and he was gonna do a house show at the place I lived.
Oh, at your house.
Yeah. at a show. We did a house show called the Dog and Mouse House. And Jeff Tate was the headliner coming up. And my friend David, comic from Cincy, he introduces me to Jeff. He's like, "Hey, Danny, do you know who Jeff Tate is?" And right in front of Jeff, I'm like, "Nah, I don't know who he is." And just like in that moment, it was just a spur of the moment thing because I didn't.
You didn't know how to react. You're just like, "Oh, neg him.
I'm
be rude."
fanboying. Yeah. I'm a minute of fanboying, but I'm just brushing off like, no, Jeff Tate, who's
no
that?
big deal.
And then a minute I walked away, I'm like, what did I just do that to Jeff Tate?
Yeah.
But I hung out with him after, like, he legitimately, he came to the open mic. He hung out with the comics after the open mic. We all, like, all the Cincinnati comics, we went and grabbed food after the mic. It was so awesome.
Right. There's such an advantage of if you can turn a central Pennsylvania market from Hanover to Lancaster to Harrisburg, all over and in between. If you can turn this area into a cool little scene, then that just means that we broke the code. You don't have to overextend yourself to live in a major market like a big city of New York City or LA or Philadelphia or whatever it may be to spend a shit ton of money on rent for an apartment that you can barely even live out of. You can do it in central Pennsylvania and still have a good comedy scene of like actual quality entertainment and like a pool of comics that you can pull from to have quality show. You know what I mean? Like it's possible, but it's at a situation where if not everybody's working for the same thing, you're not gonna, do you know what I mean? Like not everybody's kind of sharing that same sentiment. And like, I love the fact that people like Kenny are able to share their insight or to at least to offer perspective from a different angle of somebody who is like, you're not necessarily clawing, at other people to try to get other things. You're just willing to step back and say like, oh, there's too many comics. I'll just hang out tonight and support. Like we don't have that enough. And I'm guilty of it too. I'm fucking guilty of it too. And that's the thing of like, I'm not booked on that show. I'm not going to go. Like I was like that for so many years. Now it's just to the point where like either
Now I will support the comics. I will show up at shows
absolutely.
That's something that I've tried to. I was like at a point where like what are some changes you need to make, and that was a thing where like I want to go out. I want to go to more comedy shows, and not just always focus on like getting on, and not just to get a set. Like that's the thing is so many people go to shows just because they think they can get a set. Not even for that, just to go support stuff like that. Like things like that that needs to be more of a priority. I feel like in my personal being, you know what I mean? Like the way I do it.
I'm a fan of comedy.
Yeah, same. Yeah, I need to go back to being to support that more, to support that actual thing. Because if I actually believe what I'm saying, then why am I not going out to enjoy Manny doing comedy or enjoy Damien or enjoy Mike or Josh or any of the people that are around this area? Why don't I just go do that? I always do it at the Shit in the Hat show. Any show that I'm on that I go to, like I watch the other comics. Like, you know what I mean? So I don't know what changes it otherwise. You know what I'm saying?
A book shows, I'm always in the room. I want to watch everybody.
Yeah.
But it's a book like show, like I'm in there. it's hard for me to come up to Harrisburg all the time.
Yeah,
I want to
I can
support
understand that.
everybody out here, but like live like almost an hour and a half away in gas prices. But like when the shows are in Hagerstown and I'm not on them, yeah, I try to go out to all of them. Ryan Grimes used to book a really good show in Hagerstown. He's in Delaware now, but he booked a really good show. I used to go up and watch that all the time. Uh, I watch Tate Griffin featured for God, I can't remember the guy's name, but he
Yeah.
featured for someone in Hagerstown not too long at a brewery, and I'm like, and Tate's my friend, so I'm like, I'm gonna go up and show support to Tate,
Right.
and I want to go watch him. Like, I try to be there. It's just
No-
I like Kenny said, I love comedy. I
Man-
love seeing my friends succeed too.
We got Manny says he says we used to go to the diner across the street after every mic at the Zone years ago. It was fun and made you feel good if you got invited to go. So yeah, like something like
Yeah.
that, a representation almost of whatever other market other fucking people are in. You know, like their
Yeah.
version of like, oh, you come over and hang out with us with the group, the people that you enjoyed their comedy the most, the people that entertain. There's a difference between something you realize when you start doing open mics and comedy and shit like that. It's so fucking. It's every single open mic is the same. Every open mic,
Yeah.
you have the same people at every open mic. The people that are really good, the people that are just a little bit newer, and then the people that are brand new. Like that's like a genuinely, and there's like it's just all subjective. I can't even say who's good and who's not. It's just different levels of starting.
Yeah, there's always comedians that like
Right.
you're gonna like maybe not your
It's just
friend. It's
again, they're
subjective.
just a little bit newer, whatever it may be. But like you get to the point where, like, let's say those newer people, once they've been coming there for a while and they're actually doing that other work, they're like, oh, and then they get, oh, come hang out with us. The people that you enjoy watching, you're like, holy shit, does that mean they enjoyed watching me? It
Yeah.
is.
But
That's how you get those note. Because if it's just self-assessment, it's hard to notice those accomplishments unless somebody
Oh
says,
yeah,
oh,
absolutely.
hey, you've lost a little bit of weight. Oh, hey, you've gotten a little bit funnier. Oh, hey, you've gotten whatever it may be. Like, and it takes other people realizing it about you a lot of times before you actually get that sensation.
I feel like, hey, you've lost a little weight is the telling a fat person that is the same as telling a comic good set.
You look so comfortable up there.
Yeah, so it's like,
But
no,
listen,
you look like
here's
you
the
lost
culture.
weight.
And I'm glad Manny is listening. But here's the culture of the mic at the Zone that's creating. The culture is when I'm done with my set, it's okay for me to go to the back and be loud.
Mm-hmm.
And that is so disrespectful when I sit 2 rows from the front and can clearly hear all the conversations.
Yeah.
Either you're going to be respectful as an open mic comic and sit there and watch somebody set like they had to watch your set, or take it all the way out, not right outside the door. Take it all the way out and be as loud as you want out there.
Yeah.
Right. I think Manny's good at sitting and watching, and Manny has shushed me a couple times.
Yeah.
Like,
No. Manny's there. What I'm saying
Yeah.
is, since Manny and Mike are kind of essential to running it,
yeah.
Manny, my dear friend who I love, Manny, do something about it.
Yeah. Yeah. I
It
can
is
see
getting
that.
so much annoyed and distraction.
Right. I will be honest, I am probably guilty sometimes of that. After my set, I mean, I try not to be too loud, but I'll go in to I'll end up in the back and like someone like getting a conversation with someone out of the blue. Like I
Yeah.
honestly,
You get caught up. Yeah.
I'm guilty of that.
I
I
always-
will admit that.
I always try to
has-
go like, oh, let's.
No,
Yeah.
all I'm saying
Yeah.
is,
Yeah.
if we want a successful mic, we have to change that culture.
yeah, you're absolutely right. And like I'm taking accountability. Like I've been that person. Like,
Manny agrees with you, by the way, Kenny. He says,
Yeah.
I agree with you so much. Like, because that's
Okay.
we've all, to an extent, like, whether it be, the table ordering drinks a lot of times, like
Right.
sometimes, a lot of times it's you just don't realize what you're doing, but the
Yeah.
habit has gotten into,
Like
okay, I'm done, I'm off. So now,
Exactly.
yeah, and I need to get better at that. Like Manny has shushed me out of the room before, and I deserved it. Like I really did. I I think I've fallen in that trap sometimes because
but I guess that's the point, is you have that that especially if somebody really liked a particular joke or did something or liked something. I sometimes even do that thing where I'm like, oh yeah, blah blah blah, and we start talking, but
Yeah.
I feel like one or two sentences I'm like, hey, we should probably.
Yeah, and I try to I try to do that. I think that's mostly like what happens is like you come in and someone's like, oh, great set. Like I really like what is it? Like the first four comics at an open mic recently just talked about like squirrels.
Oh yeah, yeah.
They're like how much they wanted to how much they kill squirrels or how much they just hated squirrels. So I get up there and I'm like, I'm the fifth comic. I'm like, I'm with the Squirrel Protection Agency.
Yeah.
And it went really well. And afterwards, like I'm walking in the back because like after I get off stage, my mind is racing 100 miles per hour, like
Yeah.
and I had to get a little bit of air right after that set. And the minute I'm walking back, there was like everyone was like, "Oh, that was so great! That was so great!" Like I haven't laughed that hardest in it. I think we were being yeah, it was probably a little louder than it should have been. It definitely louder than it should have been. And like then we were just like, hey, just take that outside. Well,
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think it's not necessarily that you can be excited. Like there's not like
Right.
like it can't just tell somebody, because that's another thing too is I've had to correct people, not correct people, but like when you kind of have to wait for somebody when they have a specific crazy laugh that gets more laughs,
Yeah.
and like the harder they laugh, like you know what I mean, like when their laugh kind of becomes the joke for a
Yeah.
while. If you can make one person laugh and they kind of have a goofy laugh or something, like stuff like that, or callbacks like are always like fun in that instance, but like whenever, like it can be distracting a lot of times and you can have like inadvertent heckles like that. But Manny's been pounding off here. He says he always tells people to shut up because it's super disrespectful just to stand in the back and just talk and carry on the show the same and show people the same respect they showed you.
Right.
And it's simple because
Right.
it's not, and that's why I'm saying
Right.
it's not being disrespectful or saying like, oh fucking whatever, this person's talking. You're just excited that you enjoyed their set, or like you like this, or
Right.
you. It's just
No,
a
listen,
human reaction.
listen. Now, Pat, I'm letting you know that you're making excuses for the group. There are some comics who don't want to hear no other comics.
Yeah, but but then there's also some comics that, like Danny was saying a little bit earlier, there's a certain handful of people that are like, oh, I want to go in there to see this person's set or something like that. I always just like, but I think you're right. I think no matter what, they're like, my set's done, cool, done for the night. You know what I mean?
And if you're done for the night, go out to the bar and
Go
drink.
home. Just go home.
Go home.
Yeah, go home.
I try to see more comics than not.
Okay.
I do. I do try and see more comics than not. There are some times where like I'll go out and someone will hit me up in conversation and like you just lose track of time. Like you're just like, oh hey, like we just get in this deep conversation and a show ends. And you're like, oh, I missed a couple people I really want to see. That has happened to me probably more times than I'd like to admit at a comedy zone. Like just getting in a conversation with someone and just like we did earlier. I don't know if we knew how long that conversation went. We just kept going. I mean, it just happens sometimes. Me and Craig Paul, for some reason, whenever Craig Paul comes out to talk to me, I just lose track of time. We just talk. I'm fascinated about his story. So like I like hearing it. So I lose track of time and like I miss a lot of sets.
Yeah, I think it's you get like you kind of get caught up in people's like I don't want to say admiration. I don't know. But like the creative process. Like if some, like a lot of times I think I get like somebody will say, "Hey, I like this thing. What about I like I'll do it too." And I didn't even realize that this could be taken as an insult or whatever. But like trying to like tag people's jokes or give people tags to jokes or think that, "Oh, I think this would be a funny line," or something like that. I take it as a compliment and I give them as compliments in that sense of like saying like, oh, I really like this premise a lot. This was good. How about this? You know, or I think it would be
Right.
funny or whatever it may be. Just like, I guess what is it? um, unintended like criticism. I'm not saying a criticism. I'm saying I really liked it. And I think this would be a funny line too. I think it shows that I was paying attention to your set and that, but
Right.
sometimes in me doing that, it might interrupt someone else's set. So that's why I was trying to give
Well,
them excuses of
Something
saying,
like someone said, and all of you all have been witness to this. I will come to you and say, "Great set. Think about doing it this way, this area." You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like-
I don't mind that at all. I don't mind when people give me notes. I actually enjoy it. I like when people give me notes.
yeah. Was there, I'm sorry,
But
was
at
there
least
somebody?
you know someone is paying attention
No.
Oh,
to your routine, whether you are the first 10 or the last 10.
Yeah.
That is such a boost for new comics.
Yeah.
And we all need it.
Yeah. I do also have to come clean about one thing. I have a minor gambling addiction,
Oh, boy.
not major. And sometimes when the open mic's going on, I'm go gamble with the scratch off sometimes.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
What do you mean? Like, so what's your? Do you go dollar tickets, $5 tickets?
Dollar tickets, man. I'm broke.
I don't know.
I'm broke. I'm broke. I've won actually like probably like $30 so far.
And
Doing
you
it.
spent.
I mean, that doesn't matter really. Like spending isn't the part of it; it's the winning, sir.
Right, you're right.
So I've done that. I don't know. I think when I get older, I'm gonna be that scratch off guy. Sorry, I don't want to be,
Yeah.
but like I think I'm slowly heading that way. Like I'm just gonna. Like 6 a.m, I'm gonna show up at the right when the lottery opens. I'm gonna know the cashier's name. I'm like, "Hi, Cheryl, how are you doing
Yeah,
today?"
What's hitting today?
Right. Like,
What's hitting today?
give me a 5, a 6. Oh, throw in a 12.
know,
That looks good.
You know what's really interesting, and I don't know. I've never known this person, but I've seen this person a lot more lately, and a lot of times when you're on road trips and stuff, is a person at the convenience store slot machine or the convenience store little gambling machine. Have you seen those?
Yeah, they're on those things.
Yeah, they just sit in front of it. Can you actually win money on that?
See, we didn't have those in Kentucky, so I didn't see them until I came out here.
Oh, really? Kenny, have you seen those? You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yes, I've seen people hit 500, 1,000, 3,000, $5,000.
What the hell?
So in Kentucky, like they so you had scratch offs, obviously the like regular state lottery,
Yeah.
and you could bet on horse racing during the Kentucky Derby and horse races. But other than that, you couldn't do any other
No
type
other
of gambling.
like there was
in
no like
Kentucky
casinos
when I
or
was living there. I mean, it's changed since I moved out here.
Yeah, see, with Florida, they had like the Indian casino or Native Americans casinos. They call them Indian casinos, but the Seminole Indian Hard Rock and stuff like that. They had a couple
Right.
of those. Yeah. So like it was casino stuff, scratch off stuff, and like lotto stuff. But I don't think they had the machines. I think that's something here. Like that's so you can actually win. Like, does it like shoot out like actual like change like it does? And so when
You get big money.
but it like just gives you like a ticket and then you just bring it up to the counter or some shit.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I don't think I have like a serious
Oh.
problem now.
Manny says, okay, so Danny, you got to do those PA skills machines. You can win a lot of money on those super
Oh, man,
easy.
don't
That's
tell me
what that is.
Don't tell me
That's
that.
is that what that's what you're talking about, right, Kenny?
Yeah, you.
PA skills. What is PA skills? Do I have to have skills, or does the box have skills for
The
me?
PA skills means you can drive drunk to one of these machines. If you have that, you have the ability to play one.
I don't drink.
Oh, see, maybe you don't have the skills.
I mean, I've been drinking a lot of water intoxication. Maybe I can get that far.
You can't do that with 120-ounce bottle of
There
water.
was a bar owner.
And
Listen,
this
there
is my
was a bar
second.
owner.
A bar.
There was a bar owner who put them in the stores.
Yeah.
Somebody they showed up and they hit big right away.
Wow.
He had to pay about He unplugged the machine.
Oh, like the first the first day
Oh,
someone hits big.
So the gas station has to pay they
Yeah.
buy the machine in hopes to okay. So they buy the machine in hopes that people will come in and just put money into the machine.
So
Right.
at
And-
least how it worked where I used to work in the lottery, you have a certain agreement with the state lottery on how much you're going to pay out. Most places are only going to pay out up to the minimum where you're going to have to be taxed, like $600.
Uh-huh.
But there's some places that can pay $2,500 or $5,000, whatever. But that's
But
the
you
actual
know, when you
store
open up
money.
a bar,
Yeah,
you
it's
may
the
only start with $600 in your.
yeah, and it's the store money. It's like it's the actual store money. So like you pay the customer with the store money, and then you get reimbursed from the lottery. They bring you money. Most stores make no money off of lottery. Lottery, at least in where I worked in Kentucky, lottery is just to draw people into the store to buy like snacks and drinks.
Right.
No, like the store we were at, you never made unless someone hit big, made a big hit. We only had that one time. Unless someone made a big hit, you really did not get any money from the lottery.
Yeah.
You just wanna hopefully the person who's playing lottery tickets will buy a soda or something.
We'll see now.
Right.
Yeah, now you have an option. Now you can go in, buy some liquor, play some PA skill. Well, we should go play some together.
Oh man, road trip. Are you coming, Kenny?
Huh?
Are you coming, Kenny? We're
gonna-
gonna go play lottery. Oh, what we'll do is like we'll just take this setup because this is Kenny now.
Yeah, this is Kenny now.
This is this camera right here. This is Kenny. You don't have to even leave the house, Kenny. You'll just go with us. We'll just take this camera.
Not only is your leg healed, but now you have a third one.
Yeah.
Now we have 3 legs for you, Kenny.
Yeah.
Okay, then we're off and running.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. We're just gonna take this with you, and that'll be Kenny. That'll be our Kenny with us at the event.
Okay, yeah, we can do that. Kenny, do you do it? Have you ever let me see, I don't know how to put this. Do you gamble now, or have you ever? What was the most you ever won?
I've never been a big gambler, but I used to go to the casino
Oh, really?
and play blackjack.
Okay, so that was your game. See, I've played
I'm
one.
gonna charge my phone real quick.
Yeah, you're fine. I've officially played 2 hands of blackjack at a casino. I remember I went to the casino with my my wonderful wife back in Florida, and and we spent quite a bit of time on the slot machines. I ended up losing all of the money that I had brought. She had won all the money I had lost, essentially. And then when we were going to leave, I played 2 hands of blackjack, lost $50, and all of that money that we had just won, I lost it in 2 hands in like 45 seconds.
I want to go and play poker at a casino. I've never played poker at a casino. I've only done slots machines at a casino.
Okay. Yeah.
I think I've broke even. I've put in what I've made out of them.
So Kenny, if you don't mind, how much were you up in blackjack when you were playing?
I don't lose.
Oh, you don't lose.
I think I've lost big. I mean, I never big. I think I've lost $150 before.
Hey, Kenny, are
But
you
most
doing the
times-
dishes?
Most times I walk out there $200 and $300 up.
Oh, wow. Okay. So yeah, see, that's the thing. See, if I could only get good at gambling, that would be the thing.
Oh yeah.
That would fund all of those other things. When I start feeling low, I just go gamble and win a bunch of money.
You know, blackjack has the best odds
Okay.
because when it's like
With
5 or 6 yards at the table, the dealer has to beat all of y'all.
Okay, so all right. So I just found out something else, Kenny. Don't worry, we don't have to go too far for gambling. Manny lets me know that there are some of those machines at the Comedy Zone.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
don't think I realized
right out
that.
there.
Yeah. I that's to say, sometimes I've been on those machines. I've never spent what I couldn't lose.
Right.
Because I am broke.
That's such a
most of the time,
defeatist
but-
attitude already.
Right. But like I'm up 30. I don't know how much I've lost. I'm not certain. Yeah.
Well, hey, look, if you want to play gambling games, you can. If you're watching this live, you can come to the Harrisburg Comedy Zone live tonight, do a little bit of gambling, eat a little bit of dinner at Boomerangs, and then go over to the Harrisburg Comedy Zone, and you can watch Danny and myself, as well as I think 72 other comics tonight.
Yeah.
How many is it actually? Hold on, I gotta find the sling. But we're gonna be doing shit in the hat.
Yeah.
Is this the shit in the hat thing?
Shit in the hat, absolutely. Shit in the hat, which I always try to clarify whenever I promote it, just because I want everybody to know none of us will actually be doing any pooping in hats.
Yeah, if you're a big fan of Gigi Allen, we're not doing Gigi.
We're not
Allen.
prop comics. We're not poop comics. We're not any.
I
We're
have-
just comics.
Okay, I've had a lot of poop jokes. I probably still have a couple.
But you're not a poop comic.
I'm not a poop comic, but I do poop material. I do also want to with the gambling thing, don't we have to do that disclaimer? If you have an addiction,
Oh yeah. You're
you
right.
should probably call like 1-800-GAMBLER or something. I don't know. That's probably not the number, but like
Gamblers Anonymous. If you have a problem,
Yes.
just Google that, and you should find
I
some.
feel like if you talk about gambling on a podcast, you should probably say that.
It's responsible. Also, just if you're depressed, call your friends, and if they don't answer, call the suicide hotline.
Yeah.
Whatever.
I don't
that may
mean
be.
to laugh at that, but like
But like really,
Yeah.
hey, why not? Give
no,
it a shot.
absolutely. Like if you're seeking assistance, you can actually reach out to me. I'll take
Oh,
your
yeah.
phone. I will legitimately. You can send me a message and I will reach out. I will talk to you.
Okay. So yeah, there you
Um,
go, Danny. And Danny's always about finding the bright side.
Always look on the bright side of life.
See, now
Do-do, do-do, do-do,
we're-
do-do.
Kenny, see that we're all turned around now. We were all bummed out earlier, and now we talked it out.
Kenny, you saved us.
Toss it out.
Kenny, can you
Yeah.
hear me? Are you doing the dishes?
Why would you ask me that?
Because it sounded like dishes in the background.
Okay, I could or could not be doing dishes.
I like this. I feel like he's being cross-examined.
I was a professional dishwasher at O'Charlie's
Mr.
for
Robinson,
2.5 weeks.
can you disprove or prove that you have or have not been washing dishes currently in the state?
This is the conspiracy theory.
I have been watching dishes.
That's okay. That's,
And
that's what people
look,
do when they listen to podcasts.
I knew the sound. Look, professional dishwasher O'Charlie's 2 weeks straight, and then they fired me.
You ever try to church up a job title? When I was a dishwasher, I called myself the porcelain technician.
Oh, that's nice.
The porcelain.
That's nice. I don't think I could come up with something like that.
Yeah, there's been like anytime I just try to church like, because no matter what, like you don't want to tell somebody, hey, I'm the dishwasher, I'm the kitchen. Like if I was the
I'm the cleaning engineer.
it's also a lot better than dish bitch. I think that's a lot of times my term. I was like, hey, how about we call me the porcelain technician?
I am the hot water and cold water engineer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
You know, you did dishwashing.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god.
Oh yeah.
Everything was fine, but the one thing that always pissed me off, the one time that I would legitimately cry, when you get those little sauce cups, the ramekins.
Uh-huh.
When you get like a bunch of ramekins, they just bring them in and you got to clean the ramekins. Oh my God. Guys, you don't know anxiety until you just get 2 trays full of ramekins.
Do you want to know the worst time I ever had dishwashing? You
What's that?
usually a lot of times I would use a steel scrubby, one of those little
Yeah.
bunch of steel wool, right?
Yeah.
And it was this like this little trough. It's like the most like legitimately some of the things that I used when I was a dishwasher were trough,
Yeah.
scrubby. You know what I mean? Like shit like this, where it's just like there's no dignity in this fucking job. So it's already kind of demeaning, but there's this big river of disgusting water going down to this big filter right here where you're supposed to be like rinsing off the dishes as you put them on a tray and you push them into the machine. It wasn't even the worst dishwasher. We had a dishwashing machine. I just had to,
Yeah.
I wasn't even trusted to clean the dishes. I had to rinse them off so they could be cleaned. So how could you fuck that up, right? I'm scrubbing a dish with the scrubby and it gets stuck in the netting and I go to pull it like this. And when I pulled the scrubby, one of the steel wool, the little sliced right through my finger.
Ooh.
Ah,
So now I'm bleeding all over the place. I have to cover that up. Now I have to clean this area,
You got to spray down the blood.
disinfect it, spray all that stuff, wrap up my finger, put on a plastic glove, and then continue to wash dishes in that thing with this dirty glove filling up with disgusting dishwater and probably giving me obviously not an infection. I could still have all my fingers, but that was fucking. And honestly, perspective wise, Kenny, I think that's where I need to go. Anytime I start going like, what am I doing? I'm not really doing like, dude, you are on your way to trying to do something so exponentially better than washing dishes in a fucking trough.
I will say this. There's a lot of cooking competition shows. Why is there no dishwashing competition shows?
That's a great point.
Like we should start one. Like me, you, and Kenny
filling the rack.
Yeah, we'll get like some judges, and me, you, and Kenny. We're just gonna see who can wash the dishes the best.
Yeah.
Come on, guys. Are you down?
Yeah, that's it's so funny that you brought this point up, and I really do like this because the time I had this very similar thought was when we were watching Top Chef.
Yeah,
Dom and I were watching Top Chef, and you know how at Top Chef they have the table where there's like 3 or 4 of them just sitting on the same. They're all facing you, all facing the same way. Just me, you, and Kenny just sitting at that same table on the same set. But with just the dishes left over from what they all cooked.
We'll clean it. We'll call it "So You Want to Be a Dishwasher."
So you want to eventually be a cook. So you got to work yourself through the. I never went to any training or anything like that. It was all just, hey, you can cut potatoes. So
see, a lot of people start doing dishwashing because they want to be a cook. I never wanted to be a cook. I just wanted the job.
Yeah, I just wanted free food.
I don't want to eat the food that I cook.
No, but I think that's a great point. So yeah, me, you, and Kenny judging the dishwashers that have to clean up after all of the Top Chefs.
Okay, we'll start this show. We'll man, it'll be a hit.
We'll call it Top Trough.
Top Trough.
Top Trough.
Raw.
So yeah, I like that. I like it. Either that or So You Want to Be a Dishwasher. That would work too.
And how many times you busted your ass because it's slippery everywhere in that area.
Jesus. My first time doing dishwashing, I didn't have slip resistant shoes.
Oh my god! What was the worst job you ever had, Kenny? Like worst, worst.
Worst. I mean, I was a dishwasher before in the hospital.
Oof.
That's a lot of dishes.
Yeah, that's a lot of dishes. That's a lot of gross dishes too.
Yeah.
That food smells terrible.
I didn't like. I had a lot of cooking jobs, and I didn't like cooking.
Oh, really?
But
so that's weird because I feel like a lot of times if you get I think the another through line through a lot of comics is cooking in kitchens or working in kitchens. Because a lot of times you can kind of say whatever the fuck you want in a kitchen.
Yeah, kitchens are fun, man. I enjoyed working there. It's just once actual customers come, it sucks.
Yeah.
Because then everyone's like really happy in the morning, and customers comes in, and everyone's like, you
know what the most depressing sign is that ticking receipt machine.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
You're absolutely fine, and one goes tick tick tick, and you go, okay, cool. I'll whip this up.
Yeah.
I still think it's
then all of a
ramekins.
sudden, tick 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 tick. I'm like, oh god.
And they're only connected by the corner, and you got to take it out, put it here, take it out, put it in order.
That'll be the end in how fast they can clean ramekins.
yeah. We'll give them a big stack of ramekins to see the ramekin round.
That was like, why don't they just go on diet?
yeah. Why are all these people? None of these people know how to cook. What the fuck? Because that's the thing is most cooks I think get into the point where most cooks will go home and just eat a frozen pizza because they don't want to cook anymore. They don't want to cook for anybody else. So I can understand that being like, I hate this shit.
That wasn't even my worst job though.
What was your worst job?
I was an ice cream man.
Why is that bad? What's bad about that?
Ice cream man, so
being
it's sun up to sundown, 7 days a week. In the summer when the sun is out like all the time, the the air conditioning isn't for you; it's for the ice cream. So you just get you get a crappy little fan inside, and like I swear I drank like 3 bottles of water a day, like the big bottles.
Uh-huh.
And I would down that. So then you constantly have to stop off to go to the restroom. You can only drive like 5 miles per hour.
Right. Because all of the engine power is just trying to keep that ice cream frozen.
Well, it's
Or you
more,
just don't wanna hit
it's
kids.
more well, like that's the thing. Like the threat of hitting kids is real. I've had so many kids run out in front of the car
Yeah.
in that week that I did it. None of my jobs. I've had 2 jobs that lasted years, but like most of my jobs are a week, 2 weeks. I'm
Yeah,
really
yeah.
bad at jobs.
I understand that.
But like, yeah, like I've had many kids run out. Like, luckily doing 5 miles per hour, you're not going to hit anyone. That's the reason why you do it. But you do 5 miles per hour because you want to give the customer time to make up their mind if they want ice cream or not. When you're driving to and from the spot, yeah, you're regular speed, but you're driving 5 miles per hour the rest of like when you're in the area, because you want people to be like, oh, do I want ice cream? Maybe, maybe not, and hopefully you get enough time.
Isn't it funny that ice cream trucks just turned into food trucks? Like we still have that impulse to buy food from a truck, but now it's just like now we think it's like better because it's just savory instead of sweet. We still totally frequent like ice cream trucks all the time, but it's just like now it's to get like quesadillas or fucking tacos or something like that. Which I'm not here to complain, but like the food truck model definitely was inspired by ice cream men and women.
We're coming after prop comics and we're coming after food trucks.
We're blowing the lid off of everything here, Kenny.
Everyone.
Kenny,
no one's safe.
Do you have anything anything else you want to tell the lovely people that may be watching or listening at home?
What?
Do you have anything else that you wanted to? We're going to be wrapping up the show here, and I didn't know if you have a social media you want people to check out. Do you have anything you want to plug? Anything you want to suggest at the end of the show here?
No, I'm good.
No, there's nothing.
Nothing.
Is there any other comments? Like anyone talking about my sexy beard anymore?
No. Actually, we have some clarification from Casey. She let me know that it's called unsolicited advice. That's what I was trying to think of earlier.
Yeah.
And Manny's saying there's something at the Comedy Zone. Actually, wait, it's basically Simon for. Oh, some at the Comedy Zone. He was talking about the machines. Sorry. So yeah, we're all caught up. I think we're all caught up.
Here's my final thought.
Okay.
Don't pretend to be what you don't intend to be.
All right. I like that. I heard a good one the other day. Tate Griffin's wife, Raelle Davis, she told me, and this has kind of been in my head a lot. A person dies twice. Their physical death and the last time anyone mentions their name. And I'm like, that's so deep.
Yeah.
Like, and I've been thinking about that.
That is really deep. I like that.
Way too much.
I like that.
Yeah. So you got one? Like me and Kenny have done it. Now you got to come up with something inspirational.
My favorite is most of the shit people worry about never happens.
Right on.
There you go.
Hell yeah. So in closing, thanks for watching and listening, GDP. Make sure you're liking, subscribing, tell your friends about it. Check out the audio episode. If you want to leave a message for the show, you can. It's 717-55. Wait, hold on. 717-55. Wait, no, that's yours. Never mind. I almost read Kenny's number.
If you got a message for the show, please call Kenny Robinson.
559-2971. I believe is the number. If not, then whatever. Follow the show on Baby Mermaid Productions on Instagram, on YouTube. Like, subscribe, share with your friends. Kenny, thank you so much for hanging out with us, man. Thanks for watching.
No problem.
I love you guys, and we'll talk to you next time. Thanks.
I love you guys too.
Oh wait, do you have anything?
I mean, I'm in Hagerstown at Homemade Brewery on April 1st with Andrew Glessner, Sam Cobb, Karen, and Carlos DeJesus. And on April, the end of the month, I'm doing Ron Kane's Snits and Giggles.
Great. Yeah, actually, that was a lot of fun. That was at Sniss Creek Brewery in Wait, not
Anvil.
Anvil, not in the other place.
Yeah,
We accidentally went to, fuck, I can't remember the, damn it. Manny and I were on that show, and I rode with Manny, and we ended up going to the wrong one. So make sure you go to the correct Snitz Creek Brewery in Anvil, PA.
Or if you go to the wrong one, tell them to bring comedy there.
Dude, they were all set up for it. They had speakers, they had a mic, and we asked for Ron, and she was like, Ron who? And we're like, and then she's like, we're here for the comedy show? And she's like, oh, that's at the Anvil place. Yeah, I can't remember which. Damn it. I don't know if Manny's still watching or not, but we ended up, I can't remember. We were driving in, and we are like, I said the name of the town, and I was just like, afterwards, I was like, wait a minute. I said the name of the town, and we were driving through, we parked, and we get out, and I'm like, oh, fuck, this is the wrong one. And we was like 20 minutes away. So it's not that far if you make the mistake, but there are 20 minutes from each other. Make sure you go to the Snitz Creek Brewery in Anvil, PA for Snits and Giggles.
Not Aliceville.
Right. What? I can't remember the name. I'll ask Manny. I can't remember the fuck it's called, but
yeah, just go out and watch his show.
Follow Danny. Follow Danny.
Following me. Hucksit on most platforms.
Yeah.
HUCKSIT on Twitter and Instagram. And on TikTok. I'm trying to work on TikTok. I'm trying.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be a TikTok star.
You'll get it
eventually.
Yeah, just do a couple of duets with some famous TikTokers, and you'll be right there. I've heard that's how to be.
I mean, I might do that. I'll try that. But Facebook, it's just Danny Hucks, and pick the right Danny Hucks, because there's a lot of Danny Huckses, but I'm the best one.
Yeah, we know that you have your option of choosing Danny Hucks, and we appreciate you choosing this one.
I mean, none of the other Danny Huckses will friend me anyways. I've tried.
It's prissy bitches.
Right.
But yeah, make sure you follow Danny. Make sure you're following the show. Make sure you're following everything, the Baby Mermaid Productions, and check out Danny live tonight at the Harrisburg Comedy Zone, 316, baby. Hell yeah. Woo. We're gonna be there.
Brother.
Yeah.
Listen here, brother.
It's an improvised comedy show where you guys give the suggestions about anything that we could talk about, and it's picked out at random from a hat by Mike O'Donnell, your wonderful host.
I guess wrestling. Rest in peace, Scott Hall, Razor Ramon.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Rest in peace.
In closing, rest in peace to the bad guy. One of my favorites growing up.
Absolutely.
One of the cooler wrestlers that I liked. Yeah. I always liked Goldust as well later on.
Oh yeah.
But just because of he was so different. I think that was when I was getting into my punk phase. But early on, it was a lot of Jake the Snake and a lot of Razor Ramon.
Oh man, I'm with you.
Shout out to those two rebels and drug users. I love those guys. And who'da thunk it? Jake the Snake lives on. But another wrestler who looked pretty fit, for most of his life, still gone. I think Jim Duggan's still around.
Jim Duggan's in really good shape. I did that show with him. He's in really good shape.
Incredible. And but hey, rest in peace to the bad guy.
Yeah, you were awesome.
Hey yo. We love you. Goodbye.
Bye everybody.
Bye.
Do we got theme music to play off to?
Yeah, I can play this.